running around on stage with the Tesla stock price where the stock price had gone in half, and he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do! What a creep! What a jerk! Like who derives joy?
He went live on TV. His eyes were red, his voice was shaking. This wasn't the Elon Musk that millions were used to seeing. Not the confident visionary, not the Silicon Valley genius. Just a guy who'd been backed into a corner. Why? Bugatti, a company that no one perceived as a threat to Tesla, suddenly turned the market upside down. Not quietly or modestly, loudly, boldly, and uncompromisingly.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
A 71% drop in Tesla's profits in just one quarter. Problems with the launch of the Cybertruck. The failure of the budget model. All these blows were serious, but not fatal. Musk had already faced difficulties and emerged victorious. But now everything is different. Because Bugatti didn't just introduce a car. It changed the rules of the game.
Teslas are being torched across the country. Dealerships shot up and set on fire. Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
The V16 is a naturally aspirated engine developed in collaboration with Cosworth, 3 electric motors, over 2,000 horsepower. Luxury bordering on madness. And this is not a concept. This is not a slide in a presentation. This is not another promise. This is reality. The Bugatti Tourbillon isn't just more powerful, it's more beautiful, smarter, and more dangerous to Tesla than anyone could have imagined.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them, that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
While Tesla struggles with delivery delays, growing competition from China, and mounting investor skepticism, the Bugatti is showing the public something that looks like the car of the future. Elon Musk, watching this show, couldn't take it. In a private interview, he admitted, "They did something even I didn't expect." It's a step into a new era. He later tried to backtrack, but it was too late. The scandal was already out.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker, but that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you'd see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, you know, the reports there are not encouraging.
As Tesla's shares plummeted and analysts anxiously revised their forecasts, electric car fans asked themselves one question: what is going on? Why is the leader losing its grip? Why is Bugatti, a company that has always played in the ultra-luxury niche, suddenly breaking into the very zone that was considered Tesla's preserve?
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government. He's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
Something has broken. Not just within the company, in Musk's image itself. The Twitter purchase, political statements, problems with AI startups, Cybertruck failures, it's all piled up. And now, with a new symbol of technological superiority on the horizon, even Tesla's most loyal fans are beginning to have doubts.
Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, right? You know.
But is all lost? Or does Tesla have one last card up its sleeve? This is the story of how one supercar called an entire empire into question, of how the technology race has reached a new level, and of why Elon Musk's tears on live TV are not just emotions, but a signal that everything is changing, and that things will never be the same again. For a long time, Tesla was perceived as an unattainable symbol of a new era. Elon Musk's company set the pace, established standards, and broke the mold in the automotive industry. Electric cars became not just a fad, but an ideology thanks to Tesla. But what happened in the first quarter of this year was an alarming sign. The company's profits plummeted by 71%. For a giant that just a couple of years ago was ceremoniously opening gigafactories on 3 continents and proclaiming humanity's transition to sustainable energy, this was not just a number in a report. It was a blow to the very foundation on which Musk's name stood.
A 371. Most were saying 350 to 360. Now they're coming in at 336,068. Production of 362,615. So for some point of reference here, you're going back to Q2, maybe Q1 of 2022 in terms of the last time that they had production this or deliveries this low for one quarter. So again, Tesla deliveries worse than expected at just over 336,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
That's horrible. Can I just ask Phil, how about the Cybertruck? How's that doing? You got a little inventory there in the Cybertruck?
The reasons for the decline were complex but obvious. Declining demand in the US, aggressive competition from Chinese company BYD, logistical problems, and unsuccessful attempts to update models. But most importantly, perceptions changed. Those who were queuing up for a Model S or Cybertruck yesterday are now beginning to ask themselves, is Tesla really the pinnacle of progress? Or is it just an established habit that no longer inspires?
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
Musk watched the presentation broadcast from his headquarters in Austin. According to eyewitnesses, he didn't say a word. He just watched as what was essentially his challenge was rolled out onto the stage. 2 hours later, he left the conference room, turned off his phone, and canceled all his evening appointments. Inside Tesla, they began to prepare for the worst.
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
Bugatti didn't play by the rules. They didn't try to be green. They didn't seek tax breaks. They didn't build charging stations across the country. They simply did it better. And that was the main threat. Because if Tesla had previously been able to counter the competition with an idea saving the planet, the future of children, environmental ethics, now the audience was faced with a simple fact: Bugatti had made a car that was faster, more technologically advanced, and more elegant. And that's when the real panic began. A video appeared on social media showing one of Tesla's engineers leaving the office and saying, For the first time in 5 years, I'm scared for the company. Investors began withdrawing their money en masse, and Tesla's shares plummeted 15% in a single day. Bloomberg ran the headline, "Bugatti puts an end to Tesla's monopoly."
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
The next day, Musk held a closed meeting with top managers. According to one participant, he began by saying, "We've been slapped in the face. The question is, are we going to slap back?" He demanded that the development of the next-generation Tesla Roadster be accelerated and that the autonomous driving strategy be revised. Some observers believe that this meeting marked the beginning of Tesla's shift toward aggressive development of artificial intelligence.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration, some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
After the Tourbillon presentation, it became clear that Tesla had lost more than just a technological advantage. It had lost its aura of untouchability. The public perception that had been built up over decades around Musk's image as a revolutionary genius began to crumble. The comparisons between Tesla and Nokia, a company that once changed the world but failed to keep up, began to appear more and more frequently on social media. Influencers who had previously been loyal to the brand began talking about Tesla fatigue and looking for something new. Jokes that the Tourbillon was an electric car for those who have outgrown the hype quickly spread across Reddit, and on TikTok, the videos with the phrase "Bye Bye Tesla" set to the roar of a V16 engine garnered millions of views in a day.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, "Of course, I'm going to respond." And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
But while the image was crumbling before our eyes, the root of the problem lay deeper. In the European and Asian markets, Tesla lost its leadership to Chinese giant BYD for the first time in 3 years. The American monopoly on progressive cars no longer existed. At the same time, Bugatti was moving along a different trajectory. They weren't even trying to compete directly. Their goal was not mass production. Their goal was to become a symbol of exclusivity. And that was the genius of the Volkswagen Group's move. While Tesla was battling prices, logistics, and energy infrastructure, Bugatti was creating a myth.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will of course be the surveillance video, and investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off, and 16 cars burned in this fire, and right now investigators don't know what caused it.
The competition began to take the form of a Cold War. And if before it was a battle for market share, now it was a battle for minds. Bugatti didn't just create a car. It created a concept in which innovation doesn't scream, it inspires. Where technology is hidden behind luxury and power needs no proof, This shocked Musk, who was used to flashy announcements and loud statements.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
It soon became clear that Tesla was losing even its strategic partnerships. South Korea's LG Energy Solution, which had previously considered expanding its contract with Tesla, announced its intention to diversify its customer base, including in favor of European brands. According to the Financial Beat, negotiations between Tesla and Panasonic have also stalled. Internal sources claimed that the reason was Musk's unpredictability and the instability of his decisions.
KTLA Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
Against this backdrop, Tesla's former allies became competitors. Lucid Motors, despite facing scaling difficulties, unveiled its ambitious Air Sapphire model with over 1,200 HP. Rivian stepped up its marketing campaign, promoting its SUVs as an alternative for those tired of promises. Even the Hyundai Ioniq Q6 suddenly began to receive rave reviews from the press, which had previously been loyal to Tesla.
Worse than expected, 336 and 68 vehicles, 336,068 vehicles delivered in the first quarter for Tesla. For a point of reference, the street was expecting, the street account was expecting, based on analyst expectations.
At that moment, Bugatti did not make a single political statement. Their presentations were flawless, consistent with the style of elitist silence. No aggressive statements, just a car that spoke for itself.
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Also, Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
Despite this, Musk did not give up. He still believed that Tesla could make a comeback. Within a month of the crisis, several initiatives were launched. The most high-profile was the opening of Tesla's charging infrastructure to other automakers. This move was designed to make Tesla not just a brand, but a standard. In addition, the company accelerated the development of the Tesla Model 2, the promised people's electric car with a price tag of $25,000. The prototype was shown at a closed meeting with investors in Texas, and according to eyewitnesses, well, it looked like a breath of fresh air compared to the bulky solutions of its competitors. However, the project was in its early stages and was therefore more a symbol of hope than a ready-made solution. A new direction was launched at the Technology Center in Palo Alto, the Optimus Project. The aim was to create a humanoid robot capable of performing domestic and industrial tasks. Musk said that in 5 years, robots will be as common as smartphones. Skeptics laughed, but the market perked up, shares started to recover a bit. It wasn't a rescue, just a slowdown in the fall. Meanwhile, the competition wasn't slowing down. Tourbillon continued its triumphant march through exclusive clubs, private car showrooms, and exhibitions. In Monaco, at a dinner with investors, a limited edition was presented, each copy of which was sold by personal invitation only. Rumors claimed that one of the cars was sold for $14 million. Analysts called Bugatti a brand that sets new rules without making a single statement. Tesla, meanwhile, was now operating under pressure. The market no longer looked at it with adoration. It was waiting for results. And every delay, every failure, every unsuccessful FSD, autopilot, feature immediately became news. In Seattle, a Tesla car with autopilot engaged crashed into a parked trailer, and although no one was injured, videos immediately appeared online with the caption, "This is the end of the autonomous future." And yet, hope remained. In May, Tesla presented preliminary test results for the 4680 battery, its latest battery that promised to increase range by 22% and reduce costs by almost 18%. It was a real breakthrough. Even skeptics supported it. There was hope that Tesla could once again be ahead of the pack. But this time, quietly without fanfare or hype. Now the company's fate depended not on Musk's charisma or big words, but on real action. It depended on whether the Model 2 would go into production. It depended on whether FSD could become truly autonomous. It depended on whether Optimus would turn from a presentation toy into a full-fledged assistant. And most importantly, it depended on whether Musk would understand that the world had changed. That technological leadership could no longer be bought with words. Tourbillon has become a symbol of a new era. But Tesla is still alive, and right now, it is being decided whether it will once again become an icon of progress or remain a reminder of how quickly you can lose everything if you consider yourself invincible for too long.